Thank you for tuning in, and welcome to Errant Update. In this week's episode, I want to talk about the different shows coming up this week. Then I have a humble hobby tool giveaway. And then I want to talk a bit about Shadow Armageddon, specifically the kill teams, where I think the Specialist Games team could have put a bit more thought into it, or where I think they really just hit the nail. And finally, I want to talk about what I'm working on right now, different projects, and hopefully get some feedback from you guys out there. But first, this week, Wednesday is Errant painting, and that'll be the conclusion to the 3-part series painting Dark Angel Scouts. Friday is Hobby Tips, where we look at airbrushes, especially cheap alternatives, and talk a bit about what to and when to airbrush. And finally, Saturday night will be Night Errant, for those who are into shows like that. So that's the week on Errant painting. I hope you'll stay tuned and that you find the program interesting. As always, let me know if you have ideas or suggestions or questions. Just use the box down there. And speaking of that, as I mentioned in the last episode of Errant Update, I love giveaways. I think giveaways are awesome. And I don't have sponsors and stuff like that, at least not yet. So when I give something away, I kind of have to buy it or make it or find it myself. But luckily for me, a lot of people's been asking what this little doodad is. It's not a Dremel, it's an awesome mold line removal tool. I use it for all the models I put together, and it has changed my life, seriously. It runs on 2 regular Duracell batteries, or Walkman batteries if you will, AA batteries. And I've had this for close to a year, and I only changed batteries once, and I use it every day. So it is a lovely tool, and as comments to my videos and in private messages and in real life, when I've talked to people, they ask, what is it? Where do you get an electric file? Is it expensive? Stuff like that. This is a nail decorator, according to what it says right here. And a lot of my hobby tools actually are made for nail art, because if you search for nail art on eBay or AliExpress, there are tons of stuff that is often the same as you would buy as a hobby tool, but at a lower price. And the only thing that changed basically is the logo on the packaging. So I ordered up an extra nail decorator file. It comes with a set of different heads, and the little metal one is the one I use for everything, but it also have a bunch of other, and some instructions if you're gonna need that. I doubt that unless you actually want to do nail art, which is fine, you can do nail art. Yeah, so this little bag, batteries not included, will be sent to one of my viewers. And the way you get a ticket to the draw of this wonderful hobby tool is that you write a comment below and include the line, I hate mold lines. So if you're commenting on something else I've talked about, or if you just want the file, doesn't matter, just add I hate mold lines to your comment. Also, be sure that you've subscribed to this channel and that you've liked the Facebook page. I'll roll off between the comments and then double check that whoever wins are actually subscribing and liking. And if you don't win, I'd suggest go online, find yourself an electric file. It is a game changer for miniature assembly. Since the release of Shadow Armageddon, I've played a lot of games. I actually lost count now. And I've played various different warbands and tried out quite a bit of different builds too. I've mainly played Scouts and Skitarii, but I've also tried out Inquisition, Grey Knight and Orcs. And I've played against some very different Chaos builds, Guardsmen, a couple of Genestealer cults, Necrons, and tons of games versus Dark Eldar. And first of all, and without doubt, I think it's a fantastic game. It has what I liked about Mordheim and Necromunda and Gorgamorga. except for the very high level customization with serious injuries, or in Gorgamoga where you could remake and change everything. I liked it in Gorgamoga. I got annoyed with it in Mordheim because somebody could win or lose based on their post-battle luck only. And I really like how now, if you have a lot of guys out of action, you have a better chance of getting Hatred and Frenzy on extra level, which means even though you're getting your butt kicked, you don't necessarily fall behind as much as you would otherwise. But you still get punished by losing men or having them miss a game. I think that balances out really nicely and makes for better campaign play, actually. As far as balance goes, I think the game is better balanced than any of its predecessors, perhaps with the exception of Gorgamoga, if you didn't have any ultra cheesy players in your gaming group. Because Gorgamoga had the rules of Gorgamoga were so loose that if somebody wanted to power play it, they could power play the hell out of it. But if everybody were in it for the orky fun, then it balanced itself out pretty nicely, I think. But yeah, for my first several games, I felt that the scouts were really, really underpowered. I had figured, looking at the core rulebook, that orcs were the melee guys, Imperial Guard were the shooty guys, so I figured Scout would have to be something in between, so I split my force, 50% melee, 50% shooty guys, and I got wrecked. And I kept getting wrecked for several games and through several warbands, and now I've changed my build, so I mainly rely on the shooting and start out with a missile launcher. Buy a heavy bolter after the first game, no matter if I win or lose. So I have 2 gunners with heavy weapons, and then slowly build up to have a bunch of snipers and bolter guys with hellfire rounds. Long range shooting Space Marine Scouts is scary. It might just be our meta, but I found that they couldn't really handle melee at all. The Chaos Space Marines are just better at it. Better weapon options and better armor, and also I've run into mainly Nurgle and Khorne. So better stat line too. While Dark Eldar basically ignores parry, which is the only thing that scouts really have going for them, that everybody who goes melee basically have 1 or 2 parries. And they mostly ignore toughness too, so yeah. I imagine in a different meta, melee scouts would probably be viable. The other warband that I was really hyped about playing, and sadly that I'm not too hyped about anymore, is Skitarii. It's not that they're not powerful, it's that they're boring. I feel that the writers did quite a rush job on the Rangers. They have the right equipment fitting what's in the box, the skill options are okay, and quite fluffy. The way I see it, Skitarii are very bland. They're supposed to be snipers, yet they're not as scary snipers as, say, scouts or inquisitorial henchmen with toxic rounds in their sniper rifles. And while the arquebus is scary, it's also insanely expensive for 1 shot per round. And sadly, I think the other special weapons are unimpressive compared to what I feel they should be. The Plasma Caliber is basically a worse plasma gun at a slight discount, where I imagine it as a hyper plasma gun, shorter range but tons of shots. So 1 or 2 extra sustained fire dice would definitely have made that much better, but also feel more right, and then they could double the price for all I care. All the arc weapons, I think, should have some effect on unliving targets. There is a fantastic option for a special rule there that would make Skitarii a bit more specialized and stand out from the crowd of shooty warbands, because ignoring your first ammo roll is just not enough of a specialization for a whole warband, I think. So if the arc weapons just had some small bonus versus unliving, Necrons and Tau drones, that would make a huge difference, and again be very fluffy. And I'm not saying all of these things should be implemented, because that would probably just make them insanely overpowered, but something to give them the feel they're supposed to have, like the Sisters having their prayers and Tau having their support fire, which obviously leads me to a thing I missed the most, the Doctrinas. Why don't they have those? It makes no sense in my mind. It would have been so easy to give them a special rule saying that once per game you can choose to subtract 1 from ballistic skill and add 1 to weapon skill, or vice versa. Something like that. It doesn't have to be the full 6 Doctrinas from 7th edition, but something to give the feeling that there is a tech priest somewhere controlling these half-robot men. That said, only other thing where I think it went a bit fast is the camo gear and Chaos Space Marines. And my theory there is that it's simply a copy-paste error. When they were copy-pasting special equipment from the scouts to write the Chaos, they just forgot to remove camo cloaks. Well, that's my thought of it. I've only had 2 games with my orcs. You can follow those and my newest scout kill team on my Shadow Warzone profile. I'll post a link in the description below. But I must say, I love the playstyle. It feels so orky. I mean, routing is the bane of the greenskin, and it's supposed to be. They're super strong in melee, and their shooting is hilariously weird and luck dependent. I really like that, and also building orc miniatures is just fantastic. I'll be sure to do some videos when I get around to paint up a proper warband. Right now I'm playing with a mix of old minis and Blood Bowl minis, but at least they're painted. I also really want to try out another non-Imperial warband, as orcs were my my first step away from the Imperial forces, but I have a bit of a hard time deciding on that. I have some Genestealer cultists and some Harlequins. I can see on Facebook that Harlequins is considered very OP, and that would probably stay my hand. At some point I'll probably do like I did in Mordheim and end up having one of each warband. Also because I like to be able to lend a warband or kill team to a friend. So yeah, if you have a suggestion for a Xenos warband, please let me know which one and why. And I'll definitely use any input to guide my consideration for the next one I've been working on. And on to the final segment for this week. What I've been working on and what I am currently working on. As I mentioned, I'm putting together and magnetizing some orcs. That's really fun. I've also built a Death God themed Chaos kill team for my wife that I need to paint up. I still need to put a few layers on her Dark Elders, so I'll be sure to do that and then probably do a show and tell video about how I painted them, how I magnetized them. But most of my time right now goes into, I don't know if you can see it here, painting up tons of sci-fi terrain. And next week, and probably the week after that too, will be terrain videos. So if you want to see more terrain painting videos, look forward to that. And that was all for this week's episode of Errant Update. Be sure to leave comments below on whatever topic you want to, and remember that if you want a chance to win an electric file, include the words "I hate mold lines" in your comment, and make sure you've subscribed to the channel and liked the Facebook page. Links below. Also, only comments on this video will be taken into the roll-off, so if you're watching this on Facebook or somewhere else, click over to YouTube, comment below, all is good. See ya, and take care, and bye bye!